Is going on YouTube? But Great Blades here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Microtech ultratech. Start with some measurements. Start with the overall size. So overall size of the Microtech, looking at to the edge of the knife, just under 8 inches, but 7.9, including the glass breaker. We're looking at about 8 1/4. Cutting edge, blade length, we're looking at about 3.4. Actual cutting edge, looking at about 3.1. Alright, and then we'll do a measurement on the blade stock thickness. Measurement on the blade stock thickness. So measurement on that, looking at about 120 thousandths or so. Do a measurement on the weight. So overall weight on the ultratech here, looking at about 3.35 ounces. Yeah, about 3.35 ounces. So not too bad. And then do a quick size comparison with the Demco 20.5. This one's got original goat scales on it. Link them down below. And then the QSP Penguin. Gotta move it over at a little bit too much of an angle here. So size comparison is going to be bigger than both the Demco 20.5 and the QSP Penguin. We are at a little bit of an angle here, so it looks a bit more dramatic than it actually is, but it is still bigger than the 20.5. Comparison between the cutting edges and the blade length, you're getting a longer blade than both and more cutting edge. This one is the Tonto blade shape, so you'll get two different cutting edges here. You'll get the flat on the bottom and then the angled plus the tip. Do a comparison between the sort of thickness on them and carry profile. So a comparison with the 20.5, it is thinner than the 20.5, and then compared to the QSP Penguin, it is also thinner than the QSP Penguin. And then in terms of width, it is going to be, if I can get a good angle here, it's going to be thinner than both of them here, pretty substantially so compared to the 20.5. I mean, it is just a rectangle, so it's not going to be difficult to carry. I mean, it's probably, a little over an inch at its widest point here. Let's actually check that. Actually, pretty much exactly an inch at the widest point, which is with the button on the top there. So it's not going to be difficult to carry in any dimension. I mean, it is longer, but it's not substantially thick, or it's not substantially heavy, so it shouldn't be an issue at all for most people, I would say, to carry. So this is a Microtech, so made of aluminum, 6061 T6 aluminum on the frame here, steel clip. It does have a glass breaker on the end here, which is integrated as the screw to hold the clip in place. It is reversible. I believe you could reverse it to be left-hand carry if you so chose to. looks like you could. I've never done so, one, because I don't actually have a bit to take this off, and I've never needed to because I'm right-handed, but I believe you could. Yeah, the ultratech is the bigger size, and their sort of main lineup of there's the UTX 70, which is the real teeny tiny one. They have the 85, which is a little bit bigger, and then the ultratech. The ultratech, I believe, came first, and then they made the smaller versions because people wanted smaller ones. The 85 is kind of, as the name suggests, 85% the length of an ultratech, and then the UTX 70 is 70%, so that one's much smaller. But I did actually own a UTX 85 for a little bit of time here, but it just really wasn't for me. I don't necessarily mind small knives, and it wasn't like crazy small for me personally, but I just never really was a huge fan of it. Maybe I'll give it another go at some point in the future, but this one I actually got in a trade with a friend, so this is not completely stock, as you can see here. It was customized by Way of Knife, I believe. So this started as just a violet, purple chassis, and then he had them laser engrave these kind of, swirling patterns on there with the white kind of shadow box on the frame here. And then the blade was also customized. So this is, I believe they call it their faux hamon, which, if you know anything specifically about Japanese knives, hamon is the line that you see on katanas and some of their other swords as well. It comes from when they are forging the knife, they'll put clay on the blade, which changes the temper a little bit, so it'll have a stronger spine in comparison to the edge, or vice versa. I may be mixing that up, but feel free to correct me down below. But this is their faux hamon, so they just kind of laser engrave and probably stonewash the blade. But I think it looks cool altogether, the tanto and then the hamon with the kind of Japanese-esque swirls. It's not quite a like Sagaiha pattern, which is like the waves that you see on a lot of knives, especially like Urban EDC. They do a lot of Sagaiha patterns on their knives as kind of like exclusives. But yeah, I still really like it, and that was actually kind of one reason I bought it. If it was just the plain purple, I mean, obviously I'm a big fan of purple, but when I got this, I wasn't as much. That's kind of something that's grown over time for me. But when I originally got this, it must have been almost 2 years ago now, actually. Oh my goodness. I was drawn to it more for the customization on it than anything, and the person I got it from, I knew pretty well. Oh, that's the first time that's happened. Hold on. Okay. Might have to clean that out a little bit here. It's definitely, I haven't taken it apart since I got it, so maybe there's a little bit of pocket lint in there. But I was gonna say, the person I got it from, I had known for a while, and so the trade was pretty good, and I knew that the condition of the knife was gonna be pretty good, and yeah, I just thought it was a cool piece to have, so that's kind of why I picked it up. The clip, pretty standard Microtech clip. I mean, it works fine. It's a little tight on retention, and it, you probably won't be able to see it, but it does leave a mark on the aluminum body. You can kind of see it right there. where that bill kind of makes contact with the frame, just because this is a steel clip and this is aluminum. Aluminum is obviously softer than steel, so it'll mark it up a little bit, but luckily it's right underneath that clip there, so as long as you don't move it around, to like left-handed carry or anything like that, you'll be fine. I mean, it doesn't bother me personally, but as far as like actual, in and out of the pocket, it's pretty all right. Obviously it stays in your pocket, but just the retention's a little tight, so sometimes you do need to use two hands, which again doesn't bother me in particular, but maybe it bothers you. The action on this thing is solid. Just now starting to have problems with that in terms of the misfire there, but it doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with the knife. I just have to clean it up. Blade steel on this one, I forgot to mention. This one in particular is M390. So Microtech, they kind of, at the time, this is a couple years old, this knife, but they kind of used three main steels, CTS XHP, 204P, which is Carpenter, and then M390. They're all more or less kind of the same thing. Maybe they've also used 20 CV at one point, but they're all pretty much the same in terms of general edge retention, toughness, properties. They're all more or less the same. So just owned by different companies, but they kind of cycle between those different ones, so not every one will be in the same blade steel, but it just kind of depends what they had more of at the time. But of course now they have their own proprietary blend of M390, which they call M390 MK Microtech, that they kind of worked out as an exclusive with Bowler, but generally they're all going to perform more or less the same. I think M390 MK is slightly better on edge retention, and I think that's pretty much it. But again, maybe I'm incorrect on that. You can feel free to correct me there down below, but it is a double action OTF, so that means when you push the switch forward, it'll shoot the blade out. When you pull it back, it'll retract it. That just means that the blade is not under any spring tension until it crosses the threshold here and pushes on the spring to shoot the blade out, and then same thing in reverse. Obviously Microtechs are made in the USA. All parts of it are USA made. So if that's something that you appreciate, then of course Microtech is kind of known for that, with few exceptions. They did partner with Reich a couple years ago, and they made a couple folding knives, and what was it? The pen, the Cairo, I think it was called, or something like that, was also made in partnership with Reich, but everything else is made in the USA. All their OTFs, as far as I know, and most of their folders, like I said, with those exceptions for the partnership with Reich that they did, which was the SOCOM Bravo full size and mini, and the Annex. I think those were the only ones, but again, maybe I'm mistaken on that, but as far as I know. So price on ultratechs over the years, of course, as Microtech has grown, and as all materials and cost of labor and things like that have changed, the prices have gone up a little bit, but generally a base ultratech is about $325, which isn't cheap. That's still a lot of money. $300 is a lot of money, especially for a pocket knife, but for USA manufacturing, Microtech's pretty good on their quality control and things like that. So for what you're getting, it's not necessarily insane. They do, as of the last couple years, have some pretty good competition, in terms of USA made double action OTFs. I haven't handled any of those ones, like what's Guardian Tactical, like the Recon. Axial Shift is another one that comes to mind. There's the Heretic knives, but those are, again, more or less kind of in the same price point or sometimes higher. Probably a few others I can't think of at this immediate second, but they do have some competition as far as other USA-made double action OTFs. But Microtech is probably one of the most well-known in terms of that. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else to say about this. I mean, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments about, Microtech, about ultratech, other, knives by them that you've had. I guess let me know what you think about, Way of Knife's customization that they did on this. Again, this was not me. This was by the previous owner. But I do like it, so that's why I got it, and that's why I've kept it. I think it's pretty cool. But let me know what you guys think down below. Be sure to subscribe because I'll be posting more videos, of course, and be sure to leave a like as well. That's pretty much it. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.